All right, guys. So things in this country have gotten so out of control and so out of hand under Democrats that conservatives have resulted to comedic relief. That's right. At this point, right, in order to maintain some sense of saneness in an insane world, conservatives now have to resort to comedy. Because otherwise, if we don't, then our lives may be completely miserable, considering how this country is literally falling apart under Democrat leadership. And under Democrat leadership, we've seen the Democrats come out the closet, so to speak, and support some of the most extreme positions possible, okay? Including being against women's rights in sports, supporting teachers and their rights to talk to kids about sex and how they don't like the genitals that was born with, and also advocating for kids to be able to castrate themselves before they turn 18. Now, this is happening on top of the fact that the mainstream liberal media is basically trying to program society every few months with the next new thing for the NPCs to get behind. Okay, at first, back during 2020, it was Black Lives Matter. All the NPCs were taking a knee for George Floyd and celebrating any black person got killed by a white cop, regardless of the background of the person, whether or not the person was actually a good person or not, whether or not the cop actually even committed a crime. Doesn't matter, right? You had to celebrate criminals, right? Fast forward to today, criminals are now running these liberal progressive cities because that's what they signed up for in 2020 with defund the police. Now, they also reprogrammed society when it came to the pandemic as well, too, right? They basically forced a whole lot of people to wear condoms over their face, no matter what the science says. Okay, and there was this obsession with the vaccine and dividing our society based off who's vaccinated and not vaccinated. Right now, fast forward to today, the pandemic has been put in the backseat because the new thing that the mainstream liberal media and Democrat Party wants the NPCs to worry about is Ukraine. Right now, all of a sudden, everybody stands for Ukraine. Right, the NPCs have the Ukrainian flag in their profile pics, and if you question anything regarding what's going on in Ukraine that contradicts what you're hearing in the mainstream liberal media, then you're a traitor, right? You are a traitor to your country. So all that is to say, you can't have a serious conversation or discussion with people who've gone absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And because of that, conservatives have had to turn to comedy, right? Had to turn to satire in order to actually show the left the consequences and the insanity that a lot of them are endorsing. And there's been a whole lot of that over the past few days, a few weeks or so that I want to highlight because I find this stuff to be hilarious. I find this trend to be funny as hell. Okay, so I'll talk about it. The first instance I'm going to talk about is Steven Crowder, who went undercover to expose some woke liberal academia at a fat studies conference. Take a look.
Now, I decided to write and submit my very own fat studies paper for presentation, and with the help of my brilliant researcher, I wrote an entire essay titled Embracing Fatness as Self-Care in the Era of Trump. I then submitted the abstract to the conference, and did I say that I wrote the essay? I meant to say it was submitted by C. Matheson, a wonderful and totally academically legitimate genderqueer fat pride activist.
All right, turn me into C. Matheson.
Hello, I am C. Matheson. I am an activist based out of Austin, Texas, specifically working with the non-binary and fat community to help increase presence of intersectional and non-binary people with such events in Austin. Trump regularly engages in attacks on fat bodies, individuals. Trump is known to target women with his attacks, referring to women as having faces that are, quote, fat or ugly. And Trump's fat phobia even reaches into the United States international relations. In his dealing with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Trump referred to the leader as, quote, short and fat. Not by calling out President Trump's bigotry, for which no one would have found fault, which is what's very upsetting, but by engaging in further degradation of fatness, noting that President Trump was quote, definitionally obese and, quote, could share clothes with Jabba the Hutt. When it comes to Trump's fat phobia, often the current progressive left, they resort to fighting fire with fire, using fat phobia in their own critiques and rebuttals. Biden himself, the current Democratic candidate, recently lashed out at a campaign event, calling an attendee fat and challenging him to an exercise program, most notably push-ups.
Of course, this was all pure lunacy. And I was certain that the jig was up and that it would be curtains for C. Matheson in the world of academia. After all, these ideas aren't grounded in any scientific literature, data, or even reality, and it was clearly a goof. So imagine my surprise when this absolute joke was not only accepted to a prestigious academic conference, but C. Matheson was met with rave reviews. Dr. Esther Rothblum, Ph.D., even reached out to C. Matheson after the conference to peer review a paper on, you guessed it, fat studies. Look, Ma, I'm an authoritative source.
Yeah, so that is a prime example of just how much of a joke woke academia has become. I don't care if you're talking about women's studies, gender studies, or racial studies. All that stuff is an absolute joke. And Steven Crowder just demonstrated he literally can go up there and just say something that sounds woke. It doesn't have to be backed up by any real facts, data, anything like that. And all of a sudden, this guy is peer reviewing papers, right? He's peer reviewing papers and being invited to speak at conferences and taken seriously, right? That's all you got to do, right? That's all you have to do. Again, it's crazy. But yeah, next up we have Mr. Cassidy Campbell, who decided to troll the left at a city council meeting in Denton, Texas. Take a look.
War with Ukraine and Russia. If we had a nuclear war, it would be worth it if it could just save one life. What? Imagine living in a world where people on selfish sides denying racist, transphobic, xenophobic, misogynistic bigots, where people actually supported democracy and took on their social responsibility. The only way to fight for our democracy is to get vaccinated while supporting Ukraine in the fight. And that is your social responsibility. Everybody. One of the people I look up to, who I've begun to love, is Klaus Schwab, and he said by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. And I stand with him because I am not selfish. And those who stand against it are selfish. My closing statement, my only regret is that I didn't stop Breonna Taylor's killers. I still remember like it was yesterday. I was shopping at Target in the Pride section looking for a shirt for my 6-year-old openly gay transgender nephew after I got off work at Starbucks where I'm a barista. But at least I know that I was helping the LGBTQ community while Breonna Taylor was killed. Every night I lay on my pillow and I pray that Dr. Fauci will make a vaccine for white supremacy. I hate myself!
Thank you. That's your time. Appreciate it. Well,
I'm going to take a knee for George Floyd.
yeah, could you do that over there so we can get the next person? Thank you. Okay. If we could, so we'll take like a 5-minute break and wipe all that down. So it's 8:13. Wow. We'll be back.
Bro said I'm gonna take a knee for George Floyd. Again, I mean, look, some people may disagree with it and they say, you know, this is too far, this is childish, whatever. And I'm not gonna say it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not childish. It is. But at the same time, this world has gone so insane that this is what you have to do to highlight these people, how insane some of the things they get behind. This is just what it is, right? This is just what it is. I find it to be hilarious. Now, right after this guy did his little thing, somebody else came up and actually played a guitar solo in which he also kind of expressed some of the insanities going on in the left, specifically when it comes to women's rights.
Eyes, 'cause South Park is real life.
Let the girls play. Why do girls sports go away? Tell me why hating Brian is a crime, I assume. Unless it's in the Penn girls' locker room. I never wanna hear you say why do girls sports go away? But please, just don't act surprised when girls sports are all guys. That's how it stays. Why do girls sports go away? What if Shaq went to the WNBA? He would score 850 points a game. Even Caitlyn Jenner thinks it's insane. Please don't let girls sports go away. Now, I know that just trying to be funny, but I think we can advance transgender rights and have compassion for them, but also preserve women's sports. Is something I'm passionate about, and I think you'll remember this because you've never heard a Backstreet Boys parody in a city council. I don't want to go over my time, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
What if Shaq joined the WNBA? He was going, what did he say, 850 points every game, something like that. Bro, this stuff is hilarious. I swear to God. This is hilarious. Speaking of musical performances, we're going to wrap this up with the last troll, right? Is this guy who is a comedian. Alex Stein, I believe his name is. Went to a city council meeting and did a rap performance to highlight the insanities of the left. Take a look.
I'm the proof when I'm in the booth, spitting on the mic. Anti-vax. Putin hates all of them blacks. Putin is a bad racist. Put him in the ground, white or brown. And I'm in plain old town. And you know you just got found. I'm a pimp on a blimp. Unless a steak and shrimp. No, you can't stop my shine. I'm number 99. And you know I grind and shine. And you know I do it all the time. One more time, I'm teaching class. This is your whole pass. Zelensky is a VIP. Ukraine and I go insane. You know that is the plan. I'm a Zelensky stan. I love you, Vladimir Zelensky. You are so smart. What's the smell? Did somebody fart? No way. What can you say? Vaccinate me straight or gay. I love you, and I love to rhyme and grind all the time. And you got that sanitizer, and you know I got that Pfizer. You know I stick it in my vein. Put a bullet in Putin's brain. Do it for the Ukraine. Before I go insane, let me antibacterial my body at the party, sipping Bacardi.
Oh my God, bro. These people are wow. Again, regardless of what you think about it, regardless of what you think, whether it's good taste, it is hilarious. And again, they are pointing out the hypocrisy of the left, right? They are pointing out the insanities that are coming from the left and the things that get behind the things that they say. And I don't really know a better way to do it in the way that these guys are doing this, okay? Because, again, the left can't come to the table and have a serious conversation about any of these issues. So maybe it's time to engage with them in a way that's not so serious, but it is about serious issues. So, you know, this trend of conservatives trolling liberals at city council meetings, at public meetings and stuff like that is a trend I picked up on. I wanted to highlight because I find it to be absolutely hilarious. So we'll see if it continues. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.